Because when that's done, then decisions are made to recapitalize, to buy new equipment. That helps the economy, and also to take on new growth, expansion, which then brings us jobs. So that impacted me, and I will tell you that also I ended up enlisting only a few months after President Reagan was inaugurated in 1981. I was 17 years of age, and I joined the New York Army National Guard. I was still a junior in high school, which meant my parents had to sign for me. I certainly, as I alluded to, got love and discipline at home, but I got a whole different kind of love and discipline when I got down to Fort Benning, Georgia. Oh yeah, oh yeah, that was good for me. Came back and went to my senior year at Ichabod Crane. It was there that I had my first experience with leadership. I was appointed the co-captain of the basketball team. I was the point guard, and that experience for me was shaping. Life-shaping, because I felt the weight of the team scoring to win. It was not my job to score. I wasn't to be the guy in lights, but I was the guy that was dribbling down the court saying, my goodness, where am I going to find the open guy, make the pass, so that Doug Stoliker or Bill Gamello or somebody else could score for us. And, even now, after all these years, that my thoughts sometimes still recur back to dribbling down the court and trying to find that open guy. And I tell you that because you'll see it come into my discussion of the campaign. Because this is our campaign. This is our cause to restore our republic, and we'll talk more about that in a second. But I want you to know that I'm inspired by not only President Reagan, but how important it is for all of us to come together in recognition of some fundamental values and to try to help grow the private sector economy, restore some fiscal responsibilities, and to protect our freedoms. After high school, I went on to Siena College. I studied history there. I had a great experience with the Franciscan monks and with the professors who were there as well. I took the ROTC program. I moved from enlisted to officer at that point, and I went on active duty after graduating from Siena and spent 24 years in the United States Army, defending our way of life, a way of life worth defending. And I tell you that, having now been in every state but 3, and about three dozen different countries. And I've seen about every, I shouldn't say that, I've seen many different ways on how to live and organize a society. And I will tell you that after all those experiences, we are excited to be right back home. We actually live around the corner from where I grew up. I grew up on William Street in Kinderhook, but we're now on the corner of Hudson Street and Maiden Lane, and now getting a chance to enjoy the freedoms that we've been protecting all those years. Over the course of that 24 years, some incredible highs and some deep lows as well. I will tell you that, as fate would have it, I was there the day that President Reagan said, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall." My first assignment was in Berlin, and I was about 200 feet away from him when he said that. And I remember thinking, how incredibly bold for him to say that. I was impressed. But I also remember thinking, I don't think that will happen anytime soon. And then when it did, only 2 years later, what I took away from that was the power of vision, the power of values, the power of communication, and the power of resolve. That made a difference. That really transformed our world in the way he approached that tough issue of our confrontation. You look through the course of history, and when else will you find a time when a superpower took a knee, voluntarily stood down? Most historians looking at that would have predicted war. That's the way that would have ended, between a conflict between 2 major powers, and that did not happen. We found a peaceful way to transition to beyond the bipolar world of capitalism and democracy versus communism. So I was there for that. That was an interesting experience. I was also in the sands of Kuwait and then Iraq in 1990 when the Iraqi army was kicked out of Kuwait, and that was an incredible experience too. I was there for the first 3 national elections in Iraq after 9/11, and got to see up close and personal what it was like for the Iraqi people under death threat to come to the polls. Think about that when we ask you to come out on the 2nd of November. You know, the Iraqi people were under death threat, and yet, and what was curious about it was that Sunni, Shia, and Kurds came to the poll and showed their purple finger. That was something they could agree upon.